going from the tree selection all the way down to how the logs process, then the billet selection, the turning, sanding, boning, all of those things go. It is truly, there's 13, 14 steps to making every bat, and every bat that we make is done by hand.
Yet you can go to Wrigley and Fenway, which are universally regarded as, permanent additions to American cultural life. Shibe Park was the first. It was built in 1909.
Say a team is trending in the right direction as they end the season. I don't know that carries over into the next season, right? But having said that, when you lose the way that the Philadelphia Phillies lost last year, and it's a shock to your system, I think that adds value to every individual going into offseason going, I'm going to do whatever I take for that to never happen again.
I'm Gregg Murphy.
I'm Sam Stafford.
I'm Todd Zielecki.
This is Ruben Amaro.
I'm Jim Salisbury.
I'm Missy Manuel. Welcome to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism.
How do they do that?
In Philly, it's about more than the game. This is a legendary tailgate town. Our parking lots are filled with friends, food, and fun. So show up to the tailgate wearing first-rate threads from Shibe Vintage Sports. You can find them at 13th and Walnut in Center City, in downtown Wayne, and now open in Westchester. Shibe Vintage Sports, where there's a story in every stitch.
And welcome back to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism. We are here in King of Prussia, as you can imagine, and you can see we are at Victus Bat Company with Jared Smith, the founder of Victus. And wow, what an impressive place. We're going to give our viewers a chance to look around. But tell me a little bit about how this all started for you, because I know it all started with this little idea that you had in your head, and now you have all of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really started out of a buddy's parents' garage, just making bats one by one, just out of a love for the game. And then little by little, we kept building up. And then 2012 came along, and we came up with a business plan and came up with Victus. And now 13 years later, here we are.
Can you believe when you stop and think and look around at what this has become? Can you believe that your friend's garage turned into this?
Yeah, no, it's been surreal. I mean, honestly, it's been steady growth the whole time. So it's been something for us that we've kind of worked our butts off to get to where we are, but now kind of when you take a look back at where we are 12, 13 years later, it's just something it's pretty wild, I'm not gonna lie.
All right, tell me, we're in King of Prussia. This is where you are based out of, and Major League ball players from all over come in here to look at the product, get a feel for the product. Take me through a mental tour of this facility.
Yeah, so I mean, it all starts with the wood supply, right? So for us, we use the #1 grade split billets, maple and birch. So from there, the guys determine whether they want to swing maple or birch, and then what model they want to swing. There's all different parts to the model. There's the barrel size, handle size, what the actual handle shape is. Each thing kind of determines how the bat's going to swing. So it's our job to then work with those players to figure out which bat works best for them.
So they come in here, they go through a couple of workouts and get a feel for what they like, and then is it back to the factory side of things for them to get hands-on and take a look at the wood and all of that?
We have a batting cage right here, so we'll make the bats right on the floor, and a couple minutes later they'll be hitting with them in the cage and then make little modifications in the program, and hopefully that day we'll get them dialed into exactly what they want.
What is the process of making a bat? I mean, it obviously starts with a piece of wood, but there's so much more to it than just that.
Yeah, I mean, going from the tree selection all the way down to how the logs process, then the billet selection, the turning, sanding, boning, all of those things go. It is truly, there's 13, 14 steps to making every bat, and every bat that we make is done by hand.
You have some incredible, talented artists back there, and not just artists that are painting the bats, but the idea of making a bat is an art form. And you have folks working back, 55 employees here at Victus, and each specializing in a different thing, and some world-class machinery back there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us to make top-line bats and top-line equipment, top-line employees, and the team we have, there's nobody better. There's no doubt about that.
When you stop and think about where you've come over the years, this idea of making baseball bats, you played the game, you loved the game, and now here it is. It provides a living for you and your family. It's kind of remarkable that the business of baseball is what it is, right?
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, Ryan and I, when we started this, we literally started because we wanted to do something for a living that we enjoyed. So to have all the success that we've had has been an incredible blessing, but really it's just we're doing what we enjoy for life. And I said to you earlier, I'll say again, the 12-year-old in me is really happy with what I'm doing, really proud of where I'm at, and it's something for me that I love being part of the game, and we love bringing our style into the game also, and allowing players to kind of express themselves and really changing the game in a way that we think is moving it forward from a customization standpoint.
Yeah. Brag a little bit about Victus in the big leagues, in professional baseball, because you guys are no longer just a small player in the game. You are one of the biggest players in the game.
Yeah, so we're the #1 bat in the big leagues now. And I mean, you see the players just on the Phillies alone with Harper, I mean, Marsh, Stott, Bohm, all those guys. And then across the league, Mookie Betts, Tatis, J-Rod. Like, we do have an incredible caliber of player. And for me, it's an honor to be able to service these guys with their bats, honestly.
All right, so years ago, baseball bats went from being a piece of wood, brown or black, gray, perhaps. That might have been a little bit. Nowadays, they are personality pieces in a lot of ways. Now, some of the bats we're seeing behind us, you're not allowed to use them in a big league game yet, but they are able to use them in different special events. But this has taken it to a whole nother level, has it not, your business model with the painting of the bats?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you saw the pencil bat last year with Stott, things like that that really go viral. I mean, it's hard to do that with just a black and natural bat, right? So for us, it's really given us an opportunity to stand out. And Bat King's an incredible talent. He's been incredible to work with. And I mean, he's been here now 3 years, and you've seen what's happened over just those 3 short years. And we look forward to seeing what else is in the future.
So I know this guy. And, when you talk about personality, the guys that you represent, the guys that swing your product, it's about their personalities at a lot of levels. I mean, obviously, they're big league ball players and they need results, but getting personality in the game, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, it allows us to work with players on a personal level too, get to know what they like and really like play. And we want to make them smile when they see the bat. That's a big thing. Like, you either want to get them fired up or you want to make them laugh or smile at it. And like, you see a Kruk bat head like that and it puts a smile on people's faces.
Absolutely does. Although he could be a pain in my butt sometimes too. All right, before I let you go, you talk about smiles. You're sitting back, the day is over, it's 7:30, 8 o'clock, you're watching a ball game, you see one of your guys, and he goes deep. How does that feel?
Oh, it's the best, man. And we got group texts with, like, we here, we're all into it. So it's every night we're watching, whether it's at the ballpark or at home watching games. Like, for us, we're dialed into the game of baseball, and we're true fans of the game, and getting to provide the products to the players, it's just a beautiful thing.
Who have you met that's made you genuinely starstruck?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
George Strait. Yeah, meeting George Strait was the first time I've probably been starstruck.
Genuinely starstruck? I think the closest to that would probably be Harp.
I'm a homebody, so I guess I don't get out much.
I think Bryce a little bit, but I think that's everybody.
I don't even know. Meeting Kelsey was cool. That's all. I got nothing. I
mean, other than Bryce Harper? I mean, honestly, every guy here.
Another crazy Philly sports story that you've never heard. The 1970s was the decade of the Renegade Sports League. The ABA took on the NBA, the WHA took on the NHL, and in football, the World Football League tried to compete with the NFL. When the league kicked off in 1974, one of its inaugural teams was the Philadelphia Bell, and they played at JFK Stadium in South Philly. Led by the ownership of Grace Kelly's brother John, their first 2 games were a rousing success. 55,000 people attended the home opener, 64,000 people were at game 2. Could this team really compete with the Eagles? No. It turned out that only about 14,000 of the 55K at game 1 and about 6,000 of the 64,000 fans in attendance for game 2 had actually paid for their tickets. The other 80,000 had been given away over the 2 games. Happening at the same time as Watergate, the ensuing controversy was known as Papergate. The team's reputation was ruined, and John Kelly quit the team in disgrace. Attendance fell off a cliff. Their 9-11 record shouldn't have gotten them to a playoff spot, but the Charlotte Sting couldn't afford to make the flight to Orlando to take on the Florida Blazers, so the Bell got the nod. They lost 18-3. In 1975, things went from bad to worse. only 3,000 fans showed up at the home opener at Franklin Field. And on October 18th, they defeated the Charlotte Hornets in front of 1,200 people at Franklin Field. 4 days later, the league folded. One wide receiver on that team will go on to bigger and better things. His name, Vince Papale.
BetPark's online casino and sportsbook. You love to play, you play to win, you bet BetPark.
When you open the BetParks app, you're in the zone. Winning is always a rush, but the money is in the moments. It's the anticipation of another face card, the thrill of an extra spin, and the pure joy of a jackpot. It's all your favorite games at your fingertips. Plus, get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. You play for fun, you love to win. You bet. BetParks.
I'm Rachel Riley from the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. As a Phillies Nation partner, we're asking all of you to help us by contributing to our Freedom from Hunger drive this fall. We kicked off this fundraiser recently by serving folks in Norristown. There continues to be a critical need in the Montgomery County community due to the impact of the rising cost of food. This drive will run through the fall, the end of October, and will support over 70 food pantries and soup kitchens through the Monco Anti-Hunger Network. Our goal is to collect the monetary equivalent of over 90,000 pounds of food. So we're asking for your help to donate. Go to valleyforge.org/hunger. Thank you so much.
Welcome to This Week in Philly Baseball History, presented by Shibe Vintage Sports. This week in 2009, Matt Stairs' grand slam in the ninth inning of a game against Washington tied a 50-year club record for the most pinch hits in a season. Stairs is baseball's all-time leader in pinch hit home runs with 23. Celebrate more Philly sports history with clothing from Shibe Vintage Sports, where there's a story in every stitch. Visit them at 13th and Walnut Streets or at shibesports.com.
Philadelphia's favorite sports boutique and Wayne's favorite card store have joined forces to create an exciting new experience on the main line. Together, Shibe Vintage Sports and Wheelhouse Cards are offering fans a one-stop shop for throwback sports clothing, cards, memorabilia, and more, all the while supporting small community businesses. Be sure to check out their new locations in downtown Wayne, on Paoli Pike in Westchester, and online at shibesports.com.
Welcome back to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism. We all know what a great ballpark Citizens Bank Park is, and today we're going to talk to historian and author Bruce Kuklick about how it all began in Philadelphia with the construction of Shibe Park in the early 1900s.
Well, Shibe Park is the first of the all-concrete and steel stadiums. The only ones there used to be a load of them, 16. There are now 2 left, which you know about, Wrigley and Fenway. And I think to show you how beautiful these places were and how extraordinary in American cultural life at the turn of the 20th century, you can go to Wrigley and Fenway, which are universally regarded as, permanent additions to American cultural life. Shibe Park was the first, was built in 1909. Although Connie Mack was a minority shareholder in this team, he was then the manager of the old Philadelphia A's. He was not the inspirational force for the building of the stadium. That force came from Ben Shibe and John Shibe, who were 2 baseball entrepreneurs. They were in sporting goods, and in fact, they were the guys who invented the stitched baseball, which we now know and love. And they were also shrewd businessmen, because what they wanted to do was to elevate baseball from being a kind of rowdy working class pastime into something that was more middle class and respectable. And how do you do this? From their point of view, you did this by building this grandiose meeting place where fans could come. And it doesn't sound so strange to us now, because you see when they build these the new sports stadium, which are always in the news, it's recognized that if you have a quality corporate headquarters, you're going to attract fans. That was big news in 1900, and these guys had a lot of foresight in understanding that if they put together such a corporate edifice, that they would attract fans, and they did. If you look at the reports from 1909 when Shibe Park opened, it is amazing the way all sorts of people, not just fans, but city fathers, public officials, cultural leaders, looked at this as a real step up. This was an upgrade to what American culture was about. And the design of the places was really amazing. I just had a conversation with a guy 2 days ago who knows about some of my interests, and he said, I've heard this from hundreds of people, they will never forget. What's the first image they have of entering this ballpark? Of walking up a concrete walkway and then walking to the right or to the left if you come in on the first base side. You walk down a great big walkway and you see the ball field open up, this great green space. And I have no way of conveying to you how much people thought this was a memorable, incredible sight, which made Major League Baseball, I think, to a certain extent, and certainly did in Philadelphia.
And now let's kick it over to Phillies' preeminent quizmaster, Johnny Goodtimes, for some baseball trivia.
What nickname did Stan Hochman give the 1983 Phillies?
BetPark's online casino and sportsbook. You love to play, you play to win, you bet BetPark.
When you open the BetParks app, you're in the zone. Winning is always a rush, but the money is in the moments. It's the anticipation of another face card, the thrill of an extra spin, and the pure joy of a jackpot. It's all your favorite games at your fingertips. Plus, get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. You play for fun, you love to win. You bet. BetParks.
I'm Rachel Riley from the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. As a Phillies Nation partner, we're asking all of you to help us by contributing to our Freedom from Hunger drive this fall. We kicked off this fundraiser recently by serving folks in Norristown. There continues to be a critical need in the Montgomery County community due to the impact of the rising cost of food. This drive will run through the fall, the end of October, and will support over 70 food pantries and soup kitchens through the Monco Anti-Hunger Network. Our goal is to collect the monetary equivalent of over 90,000 pounds of food. So we're asking for your help to donate. Go to valleyforge.org/hunger. Thank you so much.
We're back at Wheelhouse. I'm Geoff, and we're going to talk about when and why you should grade your cards. Okay, you opened the pack and you pulled a card that's rare or you love. Should you grade it? So what is grading? A company like PSA reviews your card's conditions such as corners, centering, and surface, and assigns a grade from 1 being poor to 10 being perfect. You only want to grade cards worth the cost to do so, usually starting around $15 to $20 per card. Any less and it won't be worth it. Grading can be complicated and a little nerve-wracking, but no worries, Wheelhouse has you covered. As an authorized dealer for PSA, we handle thousands of cards every month. Your card will be safe with us. Like anything else, grading has some nuance. Many cards trade easier when graded, but each case is different. So don't leap without looking. So come by. We are open 7 days a week. Follow us on Instagram at Wheelhouse Cards or online at wheelhousecards.com. Go Phils!
What nickname did Stan Hochman give the 1983 Phillies? The 1950 Phillies were known as the Whiz Kids. Hochman called these old-timers the Wheeze Kids.
Welcome back to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism. I'm Sam Stafford. Recently, we caught up with some Phillies fans tailgating, and we asked them, who has the better hair, Brandon Marsh or Jayson Werth?
Gotta go with my man Marsh. All love to Jayson Werth, but Brandon Marsh, man, there's something about that beard-hair combo. Gets it nice and wet so it doesn't flop around the wind. You know, that's a great-looking man right there, no doubt.
I think Brandon Marsh is cool.
I'll say Jayson Werth.
Jayson Werth.
It's like a tie. I mean, let's just go Marsh.
Oh, Jayson Werth. Jayson Werth. Brandon Marsh looks like a swamp monster. I'm sorry, he does.
That's you.
Jayson Werth all the way.
I have the better hair, and my beard is better than Jayson Werth's beard.
Brandon Marsh.
Jayson Werth.
Jayson Werth.
Brandon Marsh.
Brandon Marsh.
Brandon Marsh.
Cousin Brandon.
Ooh. I'm gonna go Brandon Marsh. I like his hair.
Brandon Marsh. I'm wearing his jersey right now. I love him very much.
She does.
Yeah. If you were in a horror movie, which teammate is dying first?
Ooh. Marsh, because he would just go where he's probably not supposed to.
Me?
I'm going to say Trey Turner. He's getting crushed.
Soto. I think Soto is going out.
Horror movie. Who's dying first?
Trey Turner.
Really?
Trey Turner.
Before I even finish the okay.
Trey Turner.
Who's making it out alive?
I feel like Strom, you know, I feel like he hunts and stuff in the off season. He's one with nature. He'd have a good going.
Brandon Marsh.
Christopher Sanchez.
JT.
Halbert.
Me, myself.
You've been mentioned for both dying first and staying alive, by the way.
I'm gonna do my homework. Whenever you post this, I'm gonna find out who said it.
All right.
And I'm gonna go get them.
Deal.
Our Phillies Show trio meets up with Hall of Famer and Fox Network broadcaster John Smoltz to talk about the Phillies and postseason baseball.
A lot of Phillies fans are excited. Would love to get your thoughts just in general on this Phillies team, and everybody wants to know, can this team finally take the next step and win a World Series? What do you think?
I've been saying it all year. They have the best overall roster in the National League. There's injuries all over the place, and they have been more than fortunate than the rest of some teams to sustain those, which you never know how that's going to play out, right? I mean, the Dodgers are a perfect example in the last few years, how winning 100 games is not as big as being able to be healthy at the right time of the year. And I think last year, I'm not a big believer in momentum. Let's just say a team is trending in the right direction as they end the season. I don't know that carries over into the next season, right? But having said that, when you lose the way that the Philadelphia Phillies lost last year, and it's a shock to your system, I think that adds value to every individual going in the offseason going, I'm going to do whatever I take for that to never happen again, right? To not lose home field advantage. I mean, Arizona shocked everybody last year. So it wasn't just the Philadelphia Phillies. And I just think it served them well. I think experience is as good as you putting yourself in position to utilize it. And I think what Philadelphia has done this year, after getting off to a slow start, every team goes through the ebb and flows. Every offense gets dormant. Every team has the glass half full, and no one's immune from it. But as a national broadcaster, I look from afar, and I'm not tied to the local team like local broadcasters are. And I used to laugh every time I'd come into a city and the local broadcast, oh, we are not very good, or we got this, because they see it all. Right. But I just think they're poised to be. The formula is you've got to have 2 or 3 really studs in your rotation, which they do. You got to have a back end of the rotation that's solid, which they do. And their offense is deep. It's built around the home runs, but they can manufacture runs. So, I've been saying this not just because I'm on your guys' show. I've been saying the Philadelphia Phillies, to me, have what it takes to go all the way.
For more Phillies analysis and interviews, subscribe to The Phillies Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you get your podcasts.
Give a compliment to a teammate. Who would it be and what's the compliment?
That's a good one. Brandon Marsh, nice hair. Yeah, exactly. I did. Thanks for noticing.
I would say to Matt Strom, thank you for being such a genuinely good guy.
Probably Marsh for keeping up with his hair.
I would tell Brandon Marsh that I love his personality.
Welcome back to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism. That's all we have for this week's show. But in the coming weeks, we'll introduce you to the Savannah Bananas, who have a unique approach to the game, and we'll catch up with some familiar faces. For Gregg Murphy, I'm Sam Stafford, and we'll see you next week.